Three small portions from the memoir. One is the very beginning of the book, one about a third of the way through, and the other 2/3. It does have a happy ending, so I just wanted to tell you that ahead of time. So don't worry, don't worry. 1943, the first death. Even though I was there, I can't remember if I caught a glimpse of the flashing red lights or heard the siren when my mother died. Whether my father picked me up or I stayed in my crib for what seemed like forever or just a second. Life after that became a blur. I only remember one small artifact at a time. Sounds, scream, siren, father's wail, breath, then no breath. Grasping, wife for husband, beloved, then no beloved. There is only a mass of tangled feelings, with the Los Angeles summer heat carrying the scent of jasmine in through the open window. No words, without a map to follow, my father a beacon, then no light. Only my grandmother and grandfather, Bobby and Zadie. I don't remember what happened the moment the ambulance left with the dead, silent body that was my mother. I only have fractured memory, remembering with pieces missing, not unlike the burning away of a rumpled piece of paper, one that held the story of the leaving. I try to bring order to a place where there is none. I am a small animal lost in the woods. Time, the trickster, plays the game of abandonment. Dashed, a broken glass, refraction of light cannot connect pieces of the story because of the fissures. Nothing comes forward. Sometimes I see a movie. The child screams as the mother walks away, held in the arms of someone unknown, screaming until darkness falls. Why can't I see death like the replay of a film? Gather some understanding by virtue of walking through it at the age of 2.5 with little language. I am small. I leap over the side of my crib, falling to the ground. Then, as fast as I can, I run through the bathroom into my mother and father's bedroom. I run to my father. I would have seen her carried out on a gurney toward the front door as my father holds her limp hand and wails the words, "Alice, Alice, no, please don't go. Please, Alice." Maybe I just stand there trying to grab onto his leg as he pushes me away and leaves me in this house of death. I don't say goodbye. I don't tell her I love you. I don't get a chance to see any more than a body covered by a sheet and my father going out of the front door to see her taken away, if this is what I really see. I don't get to jump up onto her lap and kiss her goodbye. There are no words of parting for me, only screams and cries. I hold myself. There is no mother. All that is gone. There is only darkness. I don't go with the sirens. I stand on the front porch. The big red box called ambulance goes by. It has a haunting whistle. It sounds like my mother leaving. It is the end, and then the beginning. Okay, that was when I was almost 3 years old, about 2.5 to 3. And this next part is, I think I'm about 1946. Okay, I'm 6 years old. A little knowledge. Mom takes me downtown on the number 5 streetcar to May Company. It's the beginning of the new year. She says to me with much glee, "Come on, let's go." And we get off, go inside, and up the escalator to the 3rd floor, where they have toys like my cousin Michael's erector set, and especially what I have been hoping for, a new Schwinn bicycle. Up there, too, is what Mom has her sights set on, books. It's after Hanukkah and Christmas, and there are tables and tables full of books, all on sale, some with pictures. There's one that says, "From the pages of Life magazine, 25 years. Look, Mom, here's a picture of people with cloth stars. They all look like they hadn't eaten a day in their lives. And what are these, I ask, as I flip through the book. The yellow stars are for the Jews, the Yidden. She tells me, Jews like us? Yes, Jews like us. I was 4 when I first saw pictures like those in Life magazine. I remember hearing things about the war when Mom and Dad talked with each other about it, but I don't remember seeing a picture of the triangles before. And here are people wearing triangles but no stars. My mom says it's hard to explain, but these people were different. The Nazis punished them too. My mother tells me that she only let me look at this book because I had been a busybody and got into the magazines anyway. I smile, proud of my accomplishment. Then Mom takes me over to the children's book, and I look for Nancy Drew because she was smart and a detective and also a girl, just like me. Not exactly, Mom says. After all, Nancy is older than you. But I'm getting there, I tell her. So she lets me pick out a book about Nancy Drew, and she finds one for herself, The Stories of Shalom Aleichem. Quite a special choice, Mom says, since May Company is not noted for having books by Jewish authors. She remembered his stories from her mother, who read them to her in Yiddish when she was a child. Mom, what's Yiddish? A language my parents spoke in Russia, and one that my mother still speaks. But Grandma speaks English now, and she's studying to become a citizen, I add proudly. She says she'll be safer that way. What does that mean, I ask. I'm not quite sure, she says, but if Grandma says it, it's true. My mother tells me she loves me as she looks down at me. I clutch the Nancy Drew book to my chest. She says, if you've got a book, you've always got a friend. And the third excerpt is called The Bundle. By now I'm about 7 years old. The bundle is tied up in a red and white gingham handkerchief that Bubby gave me. In it are 10 felt feathers from the Woodcraft Rangerettes for good deeds, 3 brown, 3 orange, 2 blue, and 2 green. I arrange these on my bed and throw in the 3 marbles I got in a trade for the pollywogs I caught last Sunday at Arroyo Seco Park. That's where David and I slid down the side of the riverbed, which had slime on the rocks like snail trails. Smells like a swamp, Mom said, when I brought the pollywogs home from the picnic in a glass jar. All mossy, she added. Down in the arroyo, I like to pretend I am with the Yangnaw Indians I learned about in school. I draw their huts and teepees at home in the evenings after dinner. And on Wednesday afternoons, when the Temple Sisterhood has their meeting at Sycamore Grove Park, my cousins Mike and Joey and I run across the street and up the block to the Southwest Indian Museum, where we see models of the village of Yangnaw Indians who lived on that very land. I want to take my best friend Babette with us, but only Temple mothers and their children can come to the meeting. Babette isn't Jewish. I explain holidays to her like Hanukkah, when we play dreidel, like a top, I tell her. Each side has a Hebrew letter, and depending on which side it falls down on, you get everything, half, or nothing at all and lose your turn. I also show her the 3 walnuts and 2 almonds I won last Hanukkah, plus the prayer for the lighting of the Hanukkah candles cut out from the box my mom got from Israel last December. This Hanukkah, Babette gave me her small heart ring. That was so wonderful. I gave her my Captain Midnight signaler. Now I can't play under the bed in the dark with my cousin Martin and signal him when we tell our stories to each other at night. Even so, I gave Babette that special ring because I loved her more than anything. I want Babette to be a Woodcraft Rangerette and wear a band that displays coups and merit badges and come with me into the woods and sleep on pine needles and stored up dreams. I didn't get to go on that trip with Babette. I saw this one tree when the Woodcraft Rangerettes went up to the mountains on a weekend trip to search for berries and learn their names. The berries were sweet and sticky in my mouth. I can still taste them sometimes. Babette, I ask, what's the difference between a Girl Scout and a Woodcraft Rangerette? I don't know, Babette says. I rush home and ask my mom, and she tells me I ask too many questions. She tells me it's something a child wouldn't understand, and then says, "You will carry this knowledge with you like a bundle in your heart." I go back to the same question. "Mom, what about the brownies? What about the Girl Scouts?" My mother says she has to make another phone call, that it isn't too clear, that the answer she got from Mrs. McKinsey, my third grade teacher, and one of the Girl Scout leaders, and Mrs. Vanoy, who had been my second grade teacher, distressed her. And my father, he knows the whole story of the war and why he was denied a teaching job, and no child would hear him tell it because he couldn't be a teacher. But what about me? Why can't I live near my friend Stuart from the temple, whose family moved to be with a lot of Jews in the Fairfax neighborhood? They don't have to worry about being tortured. All I know is that Mom says I just can't be told one more bad thing. Mom tells me the Woodcraft Rangerette Indian way is better. Los Angeles was like this a long time ago, she says. The Yangna Indians followed their own traditions before the missionaries started the missions. She says that the Indians found seashells in the ancient ocean bed below the first and second layer of soil, and that they grew maize on the side of the river that used to flow near where the Southwest Museum is now. This connection the Rangerettes have with the people and the land is more ancient than any the Girl Scouts have to offer. You will learn knowledge that will be useful to you in your life, my mother says. She takes a piece of carob beam and 3 acorns, a packet of carrot seeds, and her father's watch fob, which she places in the white and red handkerchief. These make powerful medicine, she says. My father was a scribe and a rabbi, a teacher. He sat Shiva and mourned for the parts of the family destroyed at Dachau. She says, I will understand when I grow up. I can feel my heart bending down in it, try to pick up the throb from the earth. I tell Babette that something has died and I don't know what. I tell her my mother knows an answer that I'm ready for. I have a feeling that Babette's mother knows some of the answers too, from her old home in Paris, that her family and mine are somehow connected. I don't want to wait even one more second before Babette and I become blood sisters. It's at this time she cuts off a lock of her hair and hands it to me. For your bundle, she says. We sing a song and hold each other and rock. Pretty soon we are sleeping in each other's arms. I remember dreaming I saddle up a horse, the one on the carousel I ride with Bobby at Venice Beach, and Babette and I ride free to the top of the hill by the Southwest Museum. We pick wildflowers by the old deep riverbed. We stop and rake our fingers through the soil and turn up 2 seashells. Here, I say, you take one and I'll put one in my bundle. Babette is my loving friend. She is now my sister, and we can celebrate the Jewish holidays with delight. But the next day I wake up and I have a strong sense of why I can't be a Girl Scout. It's because I'm Jewish. I can hardly wait to talk to my mother. Tears redden my eyes and soak my hair and neck. She finally comes into the kitchen to make coffee and sees me standing there and embraces me while I sob. I shout, I never killed Christ like Donovan says. I never hurt anyone. My mother holds me so tight, not even air comes between us. And she knows I understand. This is prejudice. When he comes home, my father talks to me. Jeanne, in Igorok, where we live, in the country we now call home, certain things are not open to us. The Girl Scouts is one of them, and for me, being a teacher was another. Dad, didn't Bobby and Zadie come here because they couldn't be Jews in Russia? They couldn't practice being Jews and be free. What does that mean? They had to hide who they were. Why can't Jews be teachers? He holds me and says, for no good reason. Thank you. Thanks.